add loops in Maya, go up here and select Insert Edge Loop. And now you have this Insert Edge Loop tool where you can insert any amount of loops, but you have to tell Maya how to place it. You can also add multiple edge loops and select the number here, or you can also insert it with edge flow. So in Maya, edge flow is like this while adding loops. Now I turn insert with edge flow on. Now it made the flow while inserting a loop. Sadly, you cannot select and then make the edge flow. You can also add loops with the cut tool. So when I'm in the cut tool, I hold down Control and just click and I added a loop. It's also very nice that it mentions the percent of the distance from one vertex to the other, so you can eyeball it, or if you hold down Shift at the same time, you can precisely insert it, for example, right in the middle at 50%. You can also adjust the snap step right here, or the amount of subdivisions it adds, but it's actually subdividing the edge, its own edge. So the loop you added, it subdivided every edge you added. So maybe you need that sometimes. I don't know. You never know. Sometimes, if you have a situation like this and you want to delete the vertex, I hold down Control and tap backspace, but it didn't remove the vertex from that edge. So I have to reconnect this edge. So in Maya, you connect edge by going up here to connect, and you choose two vertices, Shift and confirm. With the connect tool, you can also connect edges in edge mode. So if I press Shift on this edge, it will insert the loop for me. And if I choose two edges and then say connect, it will just connect those two edges or how many I selected. To remove loops or elements in Max, you just select them, hold down Control, press backspace. Or if you want to go up here and say remove, same applies for verts, same shortcuts applies for them as well. You cannot remove faces. There is no option to Control backspace or remove faces. You can just delete them and it will create a hole. To add loops in Max, you either select an edge, press ring, and then connect with loops with the connect tool, while also controlling pinch and slide up those edges. Or you go up here to the ribbon menu, and here you select Swift Loop, and just hover over your face and add as many loops as you want. To add edge flow, select your loop and say Set Flow. There are also other connection options here if you select multiple edges and do not want to use this simple connect. There is also Flow Connect, which adds edge flow at the same time. The connect tool also works for vertices, like this. That's how you connect vertices. And there is also a kind of connect tool for faces. If you select two faces, for example, and say insert loops, it will insert the loop across those faces. To insert loops in Blender, just go into edit mode and press Ctrl R. While you hover your mouse, this will show you a preview of your loops, and if you scroll your mouse, it will add as many loop cuts as you want. After you click, you can move these loops around your edges, and if you right click, it will always place them in the center. So let's say I want to create one loop here and I want to put it here. I just click and confirm, and then this pop-up window is also useful to add more. Add this kind of taper effect if I need to control the fall off on that. And there is also this factor which lets me move my edges again if I changed my mind. This even option I will explain in just a sec. So let's say I have something like this, which is a bit more round, and I enter a loop cut here. If I press E while this is active, while I drag, it will use the last edge I hovered my mouse on over, and then it uses the distance from one vert or the other. So now it will always use the same distance as this bottom vert, and if I press E again, it will use sorry. Now you can see that it's using the same distance as this bottom vert, and if I press F to flip, it uses the distance from this upper one. So this is a really neat feature. There's an interesting feature with clamp too. So if I press C, clamp is off, and you can extend this face sometimes if you need. I've never done this before, but it's also there if you ever need it. Now I just click and confirm, and I have my edge loop, and so on. Control R. To set edge flow in Blender, you need an add-on for it because natively there is no such thing. But it's really simple. You just go to this website or search for Benjamin Sauder Edge Flow, download this as a zip, and just go and install it like any regular add-on with the install. Select the zip, and then if you write edge, or it will automatically appear anyway, and take this mesh edge flow, it will give you an option when selecting an edge or any amount of them. If you right click your mouse, there will be this option that says set flow, and now I click it and it's set flow. I put a shortcut on it. Now if I insert this here and say use my shortcut, it automatically inserts it, and it even has this little tension window down here to adjust and modify after you've done the fact. But I've never needed to use this before, but I'm sure there are some cases for it. To connect things in Blender, just as I showed you before, you use the J key. So you select two vertices, for example, or many others in order, and it will connect them in that order. It doesn't even have to share the same face. And now if I press J, it will create this edge path connecting them. If I choose two elements like this, these edges here, it won't work because there's no such thing in Blender. You have to either cut it using the snap function I showed you when cutting, or you'll have to create an edge loop, and so on. For faces, it's the same thing. You can't, there's no such thing as connect faces. To remove edges in Blender without deleting the entire edge, of course, for deleting the entire edge or removing them, you press delete, and in Blender this pop-up window will appear to ask you what kind of delete you want to do. It's really fast because it always appears under your mouse, and you can also call it with X by default instead of delete. So when you call it, I'll say dissolve edges to get rid of this connecting edge, like this. And if I wanted to delete the edge with the faces and everything, I say delete edges, and it creates this hole. But as you can see, this edge, which was connected to these edges like this before, has not been deleted because I only deleted these edges, and I wasn't deleting the faces like this or the vertices like this. So I'll delete these edges again, just for example's sake. And now if I want to delete this, I have to say delete edge, or in vertex mode, delete this vertex, and so on. Sometimes when you want to dissolve an edge and you have something like this connected like this, if I dissolve this now, it will dissolve those vertices. So in this case, I have to create some kind of support, because it actually deletes the vertices creating this edge. So now if I select this edge and say dissolve edge, it will keep the corners, and I can delete these edges, or actually vertices, to get rid of them, or delete these faces to get rid of them, and have my leftover face. So just take note of that. Otherwise, the delete tool is very self-explanatory. You can select this edge loop and it will dissolve or delete that edge loop, or things like that. Limited dissolve is also the same thing, but it will decide if, for example, this edge loop was useful or not, because in this case it's keeping the shape. Remember, press X, choose from the list.